Companies will reach out to you to hire you, maybe to check if you're available for a full-time role. And a lot of times they'll say, okay, if you're not available for a full-time role, do you want to just work with us for 2 months? Is freelancing a stable career? I will definitely say this. Let's forget about word stability for now. Let's just look at it in terms of income streams. A job, you have one income stream. With freelancing, you have maybe more than one. Some of them are on, sometimes you're not freelancing, it's on and off, right? But it's multiple typically. The point is, today having one job is probably the riskier thing rather than having these multiple types of options, right? Multiple income streams. Having just one job is probably the riskier one because just one action and you can get fired and then you lose all income. A lot of people faced that during these lockdowns, right? Unfortunate, right? But it's true, right? Today, with so many options available, so many interesting things, I know a lot of you keep getting pulled in different directions. You want to learn so much. You want to learn a little bit 3D. You want to do motion design. You want to do apps. You want to do posters, right? You want to make videos. There's just so many things possible. And in a company, typically, you might not get the chance to explore all of these things. But with freelancing, with personal projects, with side hustles, you can really get that chance. Great question by Yutika, which is, when do you know you are ready to freelance, right? The thing is, nobody is ever ready to freelance. Nobody is ever ready. The thing is, with freelancing, since you have to do stuff by yourself, the same kind of signals don't exist, right? Which is, if you're in 11th grade, it's December, you know you're going to go to 12th grade in a couple of months, right? That's a signal. Somebody else is telling you that, yes, you are now ready. Next. But freelancing, nobody's telling you anything. And it's even harder because you might not have any friends who are freelancing, so you don't know who to ask. I would say, keep this in mind. Nobody's ever ready for freelancing. Most people accidentally get into it, right? Most people I've spoken to accidentally get into freelancing, which is they posted something on Twitter. They posted a case study on Medium or somewhere. Some of their friends found out that they are now designing. And then maybe they get this message. They said, hey, can you do this for me? Right? Maybe a friend gives you a referral saying, hey, a friend of mine is looking for somebody to make XYZ. Maybe through your stuff that you put out on Twitter, somebody says, hey, can you do the same thing for me? I am working on XYZ. So when that happens, people accidentally get into freelancing. And keep this in mind, a lot of times it's actually very, very common in design. Companies will reach out to you to hire you, maybe to check if you're available for a full-time role. And a lot of times they'll say, okay, if you're not available for a full-time role, do you want to just work with us for 2 months? Like, we still need this work to get done. We think you're the perfect person to do this. Would you be interested in a freelance project instead? So you never know. You never know when you're ready. How to negotiate while freelancing and income in design. I'm going to slightly combine these questions. I'm going to say, how much money do freelancers make? Who makes more money? The answer, I of course don't know. I don't have data, okay? I can only tell you from my personal experience and anecdotal experience of the other freelancers I've worked with. I'll say this, freelancers have the potential to make a lot more money, right? Potential. That does not mean they will reach that potential. It does not mean it's guaranteed, but they have the potential to make a lot more money. I can give you one simple example. Again, this is a generalization. When you join a company, you typically join at a certain amount, and then within a year, maybe you get an appraisal, right? And then you get an appraisal another next year. And then you sort of keep growing that way, right? If you have ESOPs, that's amazing as well. Having equity in the company, right? As the company raises more money, the value of your equity keeps going up, right? So that's really useful. But let's forget equity for a side, right? With freelancing, it's almost like you have no cap. You have no cap, which is in a month, you can decide to do one project, one website where you get 30,000 rupees for it, let's say. The next month you can decide to charge 60,000 for a very similar work, and people will pay you, right? As long as you're able to communicate that value. 6 months after that, you can charge 2 lakhs for a website. These are all different clients, not to the same client. And you can charge 2 lakhs for a website. But it's totally dependent on you. So with freelancing, there is no upside. There is no cap on your upside. You can totally figure it out and play the game. You can play that game. So for people who are very interested in business, who are interested in the business side of things, freelancing is amazing because it lets you match these two things, right? Because you then start treating yourself as a service provider. You think about, what do people want? What can I offer? And then how do I communicate that I can offer exactly what people want, right? Which is that overlap. If you're able to do this, if you're able to understand businesses and speak not as a designer, not just as a designer, speak as someone who's like, I understand what your business is like, right? I can now help you figure out how design can be applied to, let's say, increase your conversions or something else. So who makes more money? I don't know. But freelancers make a ton of money, right? And most freelancers, the reason they stay freelancers is because they get really good at that part, right? The reason freelancers are typically more focused on personal brand is because as a freelancer, you start getting inbound leads really quick, right? Within a few months, within a year, you start getting inbound leads. People saying, I want to work with you. Are you available? And you don't need 100,000 leads. You just need 1 lead a month maybe, or 2-3 leads a month. Right? And you can, out of, let's say, the 5 people who reach out, you speak to 3 of them, maybe 1 of them gets converted. Right? That's enough usually for a freelancer to really sustain. And then, of course, the advantage is also the time and money thing, which is as a freelancer, you can play with this time and money axis. You can say, I want a lot of free time, so I am okay making less money for now. Or you can say, I want to make a lot of money right now and I'm okay just slogging my ass off for 3 months. And after that, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to move to Gokarna or Goa or whatever. So you can definitely do that. Do I work from home? I actually work on 10K Designers. This is my full-time job. So I have been on all sides, if I really think about it, which is I started with freelancing. Then I took up a job. Then I got back into freelancing and took up a job again, but now not really as an individual contributor, more as a manager, right? So to help you visualize, these were my freelancing days, 2013, 2014, 2015 is when I graduated, worked at Housing. This was when I was like, let's try the startup route. So this was like full on startup mode, just full time working on my startup. Eventually, when we shut this down, then I joined a company again, did side hustles and stuff again. And now I'm back to full-time startup founder. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, I don't freelance right now. I don't work on client projects. I think a lot of people also ask me this question, which is, do you work on freelance stuff? No, I don't. Right? This is my main thing. But again, I will say this, the reason I'm able to talk about all of this stuff is because I've had this mix of experiences. I know that there is no one golden thing. There's no one golden thing which is good for everybody. It's not like freelance is amazing and jobs suck. It's not at all. It's not that everybody should become a founder. Nobody should do this. Not at all. At different points in your life, you will feel like you want different things, right? And one of the reasons I love design is because it lets you do this. It lets you work for a company for a while, work with amazing people. It lets you take time off and work solo as well. Maybe freelancing, maybe your own projects. I've been on a couple of sides. What do I enjoy the most? That's a very hard question. Very hard question, because I enjoy all three a lot. Like, again, it's pros and cons for each. But with freelancing, I really, really enjoyed the ability to work with random people. Like this month, I'd be working, just as an example, I'd be working with some startup founder. Next month, I get a message in my inbox saying somebody from, somebody XYZ is working on something I totally had no clue about. And they are interested in working. Or I would apply for jobs, don't get a lot, get some. It's a very exciting time, right? However, when I joined a team, working in a team, which is Unacademy, totally different experience. You get to see all the other designers. You get to see your skill level. How does it match to the others, right? You get to see where are my weaknesses, what are my strengths, and you get to compare them in an environment with everybody else on your team. So at Housing, at Unacademy, actually more at Housing, really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed working with some of these amazing designers at Housing. At Unacademy, it was a totally different experience. It was more of mentoring. That's when I really got into this. Since my role was more of a head of design, I would be managing people and making sure they are motivated, they are blocked, giving them feedback. And that I found was really satisfying too, right? Being able to work with really talented designers and then add that extra spark that makes them go above and beyond to make the best work of their life in a lot of cases. And now, with 10K designers, I get to do a different version of that, which is I get to work with, number one, people all over, right? People all over. We have alumni in most Indian cities, I would guess at this point, most major Indian cities at least. And we have a lot of international alumni too. So that experience of being able to mentor, being able to, design these systems, I'm not just the only mentor. That's another thing, which is we've got a ton of industry mentors and alumni mentors. So a lot of my role is figuring out how do I create this environment for learning. So that is super interesting. That is amazing. Having fun so far. That's what I'll say. Okay. If you enjoyed that video, please, of course, let us know. Leave a like and comment. But besides that, this is what we do for a living. We help creatives and designers level up in their careers. If you'd like to join one of our live programs, we do them a few times a year. Check out the link in the description. It's 10kdesigners.com. And I'll see you around.